The dogs and I are at Paradise Conservation Area today. We're going to go for a little hike in between rainstorms, I hope. Wow, a cougar's actually been sighted. All right, this is going to be hard to see because it has a lot of condensation in here. Hang on. We are parked right here at the trailhead, and I'm planning on going out on the Wetland Plateau Trail, coming back on the Southern Traverse Trail, and then the mainline or the Forest Ridge Trail, and then the mainline trail to do a small loop before it starts raining again. So this is a nice network of trails, a lot of forest, and a lot like Lord Hill Park, which I've done a video on. So you can kind of choose your own adventure depending on the day. And it's damp and a little muddy. It could be icy in places still, but I'm just glad to be out. So this place has really great signage, and we are heading for the Wetlands Plateau Trail. So we are on the main line right now, and we will be to the Wetlands Plateau Trail in 0.2 miles. I think the loop that I figured out we would do today is about 2 miles. A 1/10 of a mile to go. So these trails are multi-use. Some are designated all kinds of traffic. Some are just horseback and footpath. Some are for bicycles. It's quite a combination. There's even some signage that tells you about some of the trees here. We're in the little red alder forest area, and I believe we're coming up on our left. Yes, here's our Wetlands Plateau Trail. We're biking okay on this one. The one that we're going on, no biking. Wow, it's so pretty with the sun lighting it up ahead. Sunshine. It was about 9:45 in the morning, and I read that it was supposed to start raining again at 11:45, pretty much for the rest of the day. So a lot of people have asked about my hiking buddies. So I thought I'd tell you a little about them too on this hike today, and maybe a little bit about what I do to hike with dogs. So this one up ahead here is Luna. She is a miniature poodle mix and a rescue. She is 7, and she originally came from a rescue, a humane society in Los Angeles, and then they shipped her off to Boise because they didn't have as many small breed dogs in Idaho, and they were overwhelmed in California. So I had a friend that was living in Idaho, and she had a friend who was fostering Luna. She nicknamed her Peanut. Oh, thanks, Luna. And on the paperwork, her name was Chickaboom. At the time, I had a dog named Cedar, who was a poodle pug mix, and he was the toughest little hiking dog ever. There was never a trail too long or too steep for him. He hiked with me for about a decade. So Luna joined him, and we had a great little hiking party. Luna is a bit of a diva. She has a sensitive stomach, and she is terrified of car rides. So I've got to wait when I'm going hiking, like how far is it to get to the trailhead? Will she have a good enough time to make it worth the torture? We've tried medications, and they seem to just make her worried, plus still scared and confused. So instead of helping, it just kind of adds a layer. So we've stopped that. Look at all this salal. So green and shiny in the rain. I love that so many things are still green now. Salal, all the evergreens, and a lot of the ferns, the sword ferns, and the moss. A lot of mud puddles so far, but not a lot of like squishy mud. Come a half mile so far. We're still just winding through the woods. Kind of up on a little hill here. A little bit of ice still in here. Woo! So in July of 2021, after a very surprising diagnosis and super short fight with cancer, I lost Cedar. And Luna and I were pretty lonely. The whole family was shook up. We missed him a lot, and Luna was mopey, and I was really mopey. Luna's more of an independent dog. She loves being next to people and on your lap too, but Cedar followed me everywhere like a shadow. If I went to the bathroom, Cedar was there. If I went anywhere, Cedar was there. He even was in my dreams. It was really weird. We were like one creature. So it was really different without him. And Luna tried her best to fill the gap, but she was pretty mopey too. And Dave agreed. We were all pretty sad. And after a few months, we felt we should maybe see if we could get some joy in our lives. So we actually adopted 2 kittens and then Frodo. So we had 3 babies in the house, which was chaotic and exactly the right kind of medicine. So Frodo is now a little over 2. And I actually didn't rescue him. I got him off Craigslist from a couple. They had taken the entire litter of Oops puppies to California and back, so I knew he was good in the car. And went to meet him, and it was love at first sight, of course. And he's been a great addition. Luna wasn't too sure about things, but she came around mostly. And Frodo is a miniature Schnauzer, Cocker Spaniel, Chihuahua, miniature poodle, min pin, and probably everything else mixed. He is a true mutt. Anyway, he must have talked to Cedar somewhere along the lines, because he picked up duties right away. He comes with me everywhere, and he even snuggles under the blankets at night, something that Cedar never did. And it's pretty nice to have a live teddy bear, I have to admit. All right, we've come up on the crossroads. This is the Southern Traverse Trail. Oh, if you're coming up here, Southern Traverse Trail is, you could get through it if you're walking, but no horse is gonna get through there. It might be tricky with your bike, but probably you could weave it under and over. But we, luckily, are going to the right. This is more of a main trail, so you can see it's a bit wider. And we're gonna look for the Forest Ridge Trail, which should be another right pretty soon. There were a few cars in the lot when I got here, but not too many. And I've only seen 2 people on the trail, other than right at the trailhead. So it's been very peaceful. I think the rainy weather report has kept a lot of people in today. Important to leave no trace, including your dog. You gotta clean up after your dog. Use a bag. I bring a Ziploc. I put it in a Ziploc, and I put it in a special pouch in my pack so that I don't have the smell. It's much easier with a small dog, but I'm sure you could bring a bigger Ziploc for a bigger dog. And then you don't forget the bag on the trail. Nobody has to deal with your dog's poop. I don't want to dwell on the subject, but when you are getting dog bags for your cleanup, I try to get biodegradable one, but whatever bag you use, you definitely don't want to leave it by the trail. So many people forget them, and then the trail ends up just festooned with plastic, and that's probably much worse than the dog poop itself, because it is going to sit there forever until somebody else picks it up. Let's see, the ice still in there. There's ice at the bottom too. Oh, yeah, the whole thing is still frozen over. My foot doesn't go down into it. I'm wearing my wool socks, so even if they get wet, I am not going to get cold. The magic of wool. Wow, look at all this moss. So peaceful in here. It's really kind of gloomy. I don't think the camera is going to show how gloomy it is, but the clouds are piling up again. I don't think we're going to finish this hike dry. Right, we are at another junction. There's the 107th Drive Trail, which we aren't taking. And we are going to the right. We're still on the Southern Traverse Trail, so it makes a bend here, and we are 0.7 miles away from the mainline trail, and I've come 1.62 miles. So my really quick guesstimate when I glanced briefly at the map of how far we were going, being 2 miles, was incorrect. So the trail we are taking to get to the mainline trail is the Forest Ridge Trail. And this is a foot trail only, so they have put up this little fence thing to make it obvious. We're still somewhat dry down here on the trail under the trees, but it is raining. I do have a raincoat with me as well. All right, I'm coming out of the Forest Ridge Trail, and I'm at a junction. I think I need to take a left, but we will find out for sure. There's where I came from. Yes, we are half mile from the parking lot, and the mainline trail is 200 feet this way. So I've come 2.37 miles so far, and only climbed 213 feet in elevation. I wasn't expecting a lot of elevation on this hike, so any is great. Taking a little side trip down this tiny slope to see this little body of water here. Just a little low spot. It doesn't seem like it has any current. I'm not sure if the stream looks like just a pond. That's kind of cool. You can see the ice beneath the surface, the cracks on it. That's underneath the water. It looks really cool. I just passed the junction for the Wetland Plateau Trail that we took when we first started. So now we're back on the very last segment to the car, and our loop is complete. Well, we didn't get too wet. I didn't even put on my raincoat. We did 2.92 miles total with an elevation gain of 238 feet. It was a beautiful little hike, and I didn't even mind the rain. It was just so nice getting out with the temperature being a little warmer. I think it's 41 or something today, which feels wonderful compared to the teens and 20s. All right, just to wrap up the dog-related items for hiking, the last thing I wanted to cover was this pack. For bigger dogs, of course, a pack like this won't work. This is one where the dog goes into this pouch, and you can open up this for their head. Most packs designed for dogs will have a strap that clips to their harness so that your dog doesn't fall out. And I won't go too much into this. There's tons of packs. For bigger dogs, there are slings. I will just put in a couple pictures of the dogs actually using it. It has been helpful when I've gone on longer hikes, and you can just keep an eye on your dog, and when they reach their limits, then you might need to help them out. So obviously, especially when it's hot, water is going to be really important. Some people let their dogs drink wild water. Dogs are not immune to Giardia, so it's something to consider. My dogs have drank wild water and they've never had a problem. Definitely be careful around shallow lakes, especially in the summer when there could be blue-green algae. And then the last thing is the first aid kit. So for a first aid kit, what I add for the dogs is I put in some of this Vetricin. This is really good for scrapes, cuts, and even bee stings. But I put it in one of these tiny little, this is for gold, if you're panning for gold. They have plastic ones, so it's not gonna break, and that's small and light enough to put in your first aid kit. My first aid kit's pretty big and extensive. The other thing is, this is like a quick stop bleeding thing for claws if they break a claw. This can be used for humans or dogs. If you're gonna hike somewhere with ticks, this is great. It's a tick key. You slide it under the tick and you can just kind of get it under their head and pop them right out, which is disgusting, but I've only ever needed it for my dog. And the last thing is either veterinary tape or even regular tape so that you can wrap a paw or cover up a wound or something like that. Work for people or dogs. And that's it.